How you doing there? It's Thomas Fisher from the Fisher Files. I had a great talk today. I just talked a little bit about what's going on with the World Economic Forum, digital ID, digital currency, digital, what it all means, and how it's going to impact our lives going forward. And there's some benefits to it, but the benefits do not outweigh the consequences. And hopefully you'll watch this and send me some comments. Bottom line is, it's all part of a scam. They've been directing us to a systematic way to get us into a communist, totalitarian structure. Why? Why would they do this? Why? Because they've done it everywhere else. These people are not interested in our freedom. We're commoners. We're not the elite. They've allowed us to go out, consume, buy, own homes, drive cars, two in the driveway, boats, ATVs, because they gave us a semblance of a good life. But other countries have got good lives too. Anybody remember what happened in Sarajevo? You know that was a UN operation? What's happening in Canada is exactly the same. It's in the US, exactly the same. You have world leaders saying, there's going to be food shortages. Sorry. No solutions. Sorry. How does that work? How is that leadership? So what do we do? Do we just go, oh well, throw our hands up? No. We keep doing this right here. Across the country. Everywhere. How can a person who lives in Hanover, Ontario, get to work or get to the farm or get to the city without a vehicle that's run by fuel that's made by stuff that's naturally in the ground? They can't. They don't want us living in rural communities. They want to bring us into migration into the cities which will become gulags. I digress. Bottom line is, right now, today, yesterday, the day before, does anyone know where our so-called new czars of the free world are? They're in Dubai. You know what the conference is that they're at? You know what it's called? World Government Summit. World Government Summit. Last time I checked, we have a Charter of Rights and Freedoms, a Bill of Rights, we have a whole constitution. We are a standalone sovereign nation. Under who? God. What they're doing right now is they're taking God out of the picture. They want us to be dehumanized. That's what the masks were about, if you haven't noticed. Nice to see everyone here with the smiling faces, by the way. I'm blown away. I've been traveling this week all over because I've been working and I had to go into plants, a couple factories. They made me wear a mask. They looked at me like, for what? What am I wearing a mask for? Like, the mandates are over yet. Like why? But you have to pick your battles. But the bottom line is the amount of people that are wearing masks by choice now is staggering to me. It staggers me. I literally have to say a prayer every time I go out in public because I'm incensed. I was in London yesterday. I saw a child running from school, 6 years, maybe 8 years old, with a mask on, outside, nobody around him. What kind of programming has to happen for that to occur? It's programming. They've been programming us for years. Let me tell you how. So, let's go back a little bit in time to a point where we all of a sudden we're getting these new technologies, and you can download an app for this, and we download the banking app, right? But go back even further. The bank machine. Kind of the first state of government oversight, control. They can see what you're doing. They have visibility now. They can surveil us a little bit because those machines have cameras on them, right? So they know exactly when we've gone to the bank machine. They know exactly when we pulled out the money. They're starting to do behavioral studies on us. This is back in the 80s. But what were they doing really? They were trying to get rid of human labor. And then what happens? We start creeping into self-checkouts. And then we get the smartphone. The smartphone was the first device that they used for digital ID and digital currency. And then we just suddenly let them take out Face ID. Now they can just look at the phone and we get our app. Because, passwords are so hard to remember. Like, you can't use the same one for everyone because it's easy to hack. So We now have digital. We have a form of digital ID, but the one difference is we, as sovereign people, sovereign human beings, have a say. We decide what we want to partake in, what we want to. It's still our money in the bank. We can go to the bank and pull it out. And by the way, I'm going to say this, and I want it to be understood. If you have any more than 10 grand in a bank account anywhere, the time to get it out of there is now, because they are going to centralize all of it, the currency, the ID. And by the way, don't kid yourself. The digital ID, the digital passport program, that Klaus Schwab. Does anyone know who Klaus Schwab is? Why? Why do we know who he is now? All of a sudden now, everybody knows Klaus Schwab. Why? Why do we know him now? Because they want us to know him now. Does anyone know who Noah Harari is? They kept Noah Harari hidden for 2, 3, 4 years. He went around and propagated bull crap everywhere, and everyone started, and now he's being brought up as this amazing mind. He's a shill. He's a demon. He's an evil, evil man. And he's awfully scary if you really read this guy's doctrines. It's horrible. So now we got all this now we know who all these people are. Why? Because they have to tell us who they are now. And by the way, they already won. They did their experiment and we didn't pass the test. Sorry. 1% of the population stood their ground and didn't buckle, didn't take the back. 90% right now is the rate. I don't believe it. But I do believe it. So I take that word back. It is an actual experimental therapy that is programmed. That, by the way, they're using, if you read the documents, they're using that as a catalyst to, now that they've got us to take that shot, 90% of it, I think it's more like in the 70s. The reality is that's be part of the digital ID, part of the digital currency. How do we know this? Because they tell us. Lockstep agreement, look it up, Rockefeller. They walk us through it. Plan Event 201. Does anyone know what the Event 201 is? October 2019. Every single medical, anyone that's in the know medically, we're there. The Gates Foundation were one of the benefactors, the protectors, they paid for it. The Gates Foundation. Does anybody understand who's involved with the Gates Foundation? Do you know that McGill University sits in that foundation? They have Canadian operatives in that foundation. They organized this event. It was a pandemic run-through. October 2019. What was going on in October 2019 in China? Oh yeah, the gain-of-function research that Dr. Fauci denied doing in Congress. It's on the congressional record. He denied doing gain-of-function research. So, gain-of-function research. I'll explain it quickly. I'm not a scientist. I don't claim to be a scientist, but I do know one thing. I have a sense of when something isn't right. Gain-of-function research is when they take animals and humans and they splice them together and they find a way to cross over viruses. And the coronavirus was the easiest one to work with. So what did they do? You didn't get corona from eating bats, everyone. We didn't get it. Sorry, this would break the bubble, but bat soup didn't cause coronavirus. They had a lab in Wuhan. $3.7 million. Dr. Fauci and Obama's gift to us when Obama left office. And here we are. We have one governing body right now in our world. You know who they are? They wear white coats. They're not elected. They are appointed. But why? Why are they doing this? Because it's the easiest way to keep us in fear. Nobody wants to die. Nobody wants their mom to die, their dad to die, their grandma to die, their kids to die. And the inoculation of children is all part of the surveillance. It is all part of the PSYOP. They are psychologically programming us into certain behavior types, behavior models. By the way, we're all dissidents here. We're all the fringe minority. We're all the people with unacceptable views. I beg to differ. Our views should be more accepted than unaccepted. But this is what they do. They use smear words. They smear us, right? Crazy people. Look at that guy. He's angry. You're darn right I'm angry. I'm really angry. I got children that have lost parts of their lives. I didn't have children to watch them wear a mask at school and not want to wear it, but wear it because they have to. And when you don't put it over their nose, they get yelled at by a teacher. They get yelled at by a teacher wearing goggles, a face shield, and a face mask. Are you kidding me? No children. Tell me if you know any children that have died of COVID without comorbidities. Not a one. Critical thinking is now necessary for children. We are the ones that have to steward that. I digress again. World Economic Forum. Klaus Schwab is not the only evil villain in this story. They have figured out a way to infiltrate the youth. What they've done is they have a network. And he brags about it now because he's explaining it. He's already got us tracked in this alternate universe we're in. And what happens is they grab young movers and shakers that have good presence, have good speaking capabilities, have some significant advantage, and they're called the Young Shapers. Now, if you don't know what that is, it's a group that's loosely affiliated with the Young Global Leaders Program under the World Economic Forum, WEF. And this is how they infiltrate governments. They infiltrate city councils. And by the way, they're using city councils as their first layer of government to infiltrate. Why? Right here. Do you think there's oversight in the city? Where's the oversight? We have a mayor right now. We have a city council that's fighting expansion in Bright 12. Why? Why are they fighting? Because it doesn't suit them. They're not supposed to support it. They're being told by their lords in the one world government, the new world order. I know these are buzzwords, but it's true. They actually said that in the World Government Summit this week. Is society ready for a new world order? No, we're not. We're not ready. We don't want it. We say no. I say no. You say no? How do we get 1 million, 2, 3, 4, 5 million people to say no? How do we get the city of Ottawa? I was there for 2 weeks. How do we get Ottawa to go from a city block radius to all the way out to where Laurentian Mall is? St. Laurent Mall is. How do we do that? Because it's up to every one of us. I want to encourage you to activate yourself. Step out of your comfort zone. Step out of, I know it's hard. No one wants to fight with anyone. No one wants to argue with anyone. But don't just argue. Argue with facts. Facts are on your side. There's so many resources. Like there's JAMA, the JAMA Medical Journal. There's so many pieces of documentation of what the NIH has done. Just look at what they've done with the SARS-CoV-1. New teams, and then herd immunity, natural immunity. By the way, there's now a clip floating around of Dr. Fauci who says in that clip that natural immunity is the most effective way to stop the spread of virus and pathogens. What happened? What happened? Well, money happened. Greed happened. But more importantly, megalomania happened. We have megalomaniacs. I can name a few. I will do this. George Soros, one of the most biggest megalomaniacs out there. Bill Gates. Bill Gates says we will eat big meat. We live right here in Lambton County. We have some of the best beef farming, chicken farming, pig farming in the Canadian country. This country, right here. You want fake meat when you have that basket sitting in your backyard? I'm not eating fake meat. I won't eat. And if I eat now, if you don't eat meat, that's okay. But if you eat meat, go to the farmers. They got lots of it. And you know what? It is darn tasty. Anyways, bottom line is, these guys want us to be under them. They want to take over. Why? Because they think there's too many of us now. We're called useless eaters. That's their thoughts of us. We're useless eaters. I don't know. I'm not useless. I know one thing, I get up every day, I wake up, dress up, and show up. Some days I do well, some days I don't. But one thing's for sure, I never give up. I never stop trying. Because the bottom line is, what else are you going to do? I'm not taking that shot. I'll die before I take that shot. They can try and starve me to death. I don't care. Because the bottom line is, my DNA is mine. My birthright. God gave me this body as a vessel. When I die, I know where I'm going. And I sure as heck ain't gonna jeopardize that. So the World Economic Forum, I'll leave you two things. Look it up. Look up young shapers, young global leaders. I'll give you a couple of them. Does anybody know who Tulsi Gabbard is? And I'm not going to use the word paid opposition. That's buzzwords that they give us. They always want to talk. I hope to God that maybe someday Brandon McCaskill, Jeff McCoy, Carl Olson, hopefully one day we all get the honor and distinction to be called paid opposition. Because you know what? That tells you that someone's on the target. When they say paid opposition, you think, oh, that guy's onto something, or that person's onto something. I'll give you a couple people. Tulsi Gabbard, right now, is a very, very prominent, young, vibrant, and very articulate woman who has some great ideas, some great policy ideas. Young global leader. Paul Poilievre. If you think that the conservatives the white knights are going to save this country, think again. I hate to break it to you. Our political system is broken. Our political parties have been infiltrated by George Soros, by the World Economic Forum, by Klaus Schwab. They brag about it already. They've already broadcast that across the world. They've scrubbed it from the website, but it's there. Poilievre was a world young global leader. Michelle Rempel, anyone know who she is? She's one of the advocates for, and I'm not going to get into it, but she's one of the advocates for a policy that's very detrimental to children. Look it up. Young global leader. Chrystia Freeland. You know she wrote a book about some nefarious character, right? She's an author. She's not even a finance. How can someone who has no idea of economics, never run a business, never been in business, who is an academic, run a country's finances? I bet you before she became in the finance office, she didn't even know what GDP was. This woman wrote a book about someone. The guy's name is George Soros. Look it up. These guys are infiltrating us one by one by one. But the most notorious one I want to point out, because everyone loves the guy. He's a good-looking dude, wears a patch, veteran. He's a hero. Dan Crenshaw, young global leader. Dan Crenshaw was made notorious. And so I want to leave you with this. Whenever you see this happen, you got to think, what's going on? Why is that happening? Dan Crenshaw, Pete Davidson, he was whatever. He's someone that no one should follow ever. Anyways, he did a segment, and he was talking about the upcoming elections, the midterms, and he put Dan Crenshaw's picture up, and he made fun of him because he had a patch on his eye. It wasn't by accident. Dan Crenshaw was put there on purpose. They wanted to bring his profile up. They used Saturday Night Live to do that, used the fact he's a veteran, had the patch. They made fun of him. What happens? A couple weeks later, Dan Crenshaw's on the Weekend Update. Just out of the blue, just like that. He's now he's a polarizing figure. Everybody knows who the guy is. He's famous. Not by accident. So this is all the stuff you gotta. So the digital ID is coming. What it means is you're not going to be able to use cash eventually. They're going to get rid of cash. But I believe this. I believe that there will always be a need for cash. There'll always be a need for silver. There'll always be a need for gold. And there'll always be a need for things that people need. And that will become the currency of us with unacceptable views. I want a haircut. I'm going to have to go and see my friend Tim here. And I'm going to say, I don't have, I'm not using digital currency because I've exited the system. I became Neo and I'm no longer part of the Matrix. And I'm going to give you some silver. I'm going to give you some gold. Or maybe you want me to go and collect some money for you. I don't know. Whatever.
I'll cut your hair.
There you go. But what's that? Yeah, skill exchange, exactly. We're going to have to come back to where we were in the very beginning of all this, where we trade goods for services and services for goods, right? So it's never over. We are the superior beings of this earth. We have the ability. Our brains are massive. And when we use them properly, and we actually tune into the spirit, and we turn into what's going on around us, and we take off You know, the classes like they do and they live, oh my God, they're like you actually start to see what's really going on. The awakening, but our job is to get all this information. And you know what? Just tell people. One at a time. Tell them. Say, look, I don't want to burst your bubble. I know you're an ostrich right now. I know your head's been in the sand all this time, and I know you don't want to hear about it, and I know you have cognitive dissonance, but you need to wake up. Here's what you need. Here I need to tell you. I need to tell you this. And then watch them go. And they go, it's okay though. There's a plan. We got freedom fighters all through this nation right now, driving trucks. The truck drivers can actually do they've done more than anything in activating the society. They're activating all of us because we all want to do something collectively. It's not easy because the Marxists have done a masterful job at dividing and conquering us through narratives. Anyways, I have talked long enough. I want to let you guys know, activate yourselves. Tell one person, do your research. Never be afraid to speak truth. The most important thing is a lie always gets agitated by truth. So if you want to agitate all the liars, tell the truth and watch what happens. All right. Nothing is impossible. Why? Because in the word impossible is I am possible. So have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh yeah. Sorry, one more thing I forgot to announce. We decided to have a forum on Mondays. Brandon McCaskill, Brando On The Go, Jeff McCoy, real Jeff McCoy, Brooke Day, and myself. It's called Momentum Mondays, and we pick topics and we talk about them, and we try and break things down in a very systematic way. But it's a great. It's on Brandon McCaskill's Brando On The Go YouTube channel, and you know if you really want to get more information, ask questions. It's very interactive. Brandon takes the comments and we address them as they come along. It's on Mondays at noon Eastern time. We're going to start getting some guest speakers out to talk about what's been happening in the movement. And don't worry about elections, okay? Because the election's going to take time. It's going to take us time to unwind and take away what these guys have done to us in our government, right? We have to find people. We have to find our champions. And we have to make sure we vet them very heavily, right? Because that only solution is to get our people in there that are actually going to go back to Canadiana, Americana, and the true sovereignty of ourselves. Have a good day. My Twitter handle is @TheFisherFiles. My YouTube channel is The Fisher Files, and Rumble's The Fisher Files. And we have a website called, which is https://thefisherfiles.com.